Taking a break from old games, today we are checking out a little game called HASTE. I spotted this popping up on my social feed quite often and thought it looked cool as hell, but it was more of a devlog type video that I was seeing, so I never thought it was actually coming out. Current day, and it's actually out. But did it live up to my personal expectations? HASTE is a third-person roguelike from Landfall. The totally accurate battle simulator, people. You play as Zoe, a courier who can travel between dimensions and is trying to outrun the end of the universe. If you like speed, momentum, don't believe in brakes, this one's for you. The core gameplay loop is heading into Shards, clusters of randomly generated levels. Grassland, desert, snow. Once you finish the first level of a shard, you can select your next level individually or plan your entire route to the end. I really do enjoy this feature, as you can plan for any difficult spots with a shop or heal zone. I did find setting the route to be quite finicky on controller. It would often just have a bit of a meltdown until I got it right. Each level is different, with different obstacles and mini set pieces for you to run through. When you're not running through shards, you have a hub world, which is pretty much only used for level selecting by running into the various shards or talking to the NPCs in a little area. It also gives you a bit of a safe area to test the game's mechanics out. HASTE is essentially a game-length version of Sonic 06's mock speed sections, if they didn't suck. You are always on the move, no jumping, no sliding, no drift buttons, just movement, abilities, and a dive move. While running, Zoe will fly off the slopey terrain, and it's up to you to land in such a way that keeps the momentum going. When landing, you'll be given a little score based on how well you landed. You've got bad, good, and perfect. Hit the perfect and you'll feel like a 10 out of 10 gamer. Hit the bad and you'll just feel the sadness of not being as good as you thought. The skill comes from utilising the dive to fall onto the slopes in the best possible way, and it's very satisfying to pull off. You start the game with a hoverboard ability which lets you gain more speed and airtime, and it's very fluid to use. Once I got some different abilities though, I never really came back to the board. The whole gameplay loop is just pure fun, and in the later levels it can get quite intense. I actually had a problem where I would stop breathing for about a minute until I finished the level. It's lucky these levels are quite short because I may have actually just passed out. The speed, dodging obstacles, and flying through the air is such a fun time though. It feels like you're playing the intro cutscene to Sonic Unleashed, or that's what I just kept thinking of while I was playing it. Throughout each level you'll be collecting gems, to then spend in a shop that may turn up during your run. Here you get a variety of items that will help you out on your run. My favourite ones were anything to do with adding boost, especially ones that gave you boost for near misses. The speed you can get with the correct set of items is just wild. I also really enjoyed the extra feet tapping noises you got with each boost level. It was quite satisfying to listen to. You can also get items that you activate yourself to either heal, boost, or boost your momentum in a specific direction, among many others. Some levels can be challenge levels that will either reward you with a large amount of gems, give you an item outright via a decision, or as a reward for playing a challenge. For the most part these were fun and varied enough and provided a good enough challenge with the game's mechanics. The only ones I didn't like were these void-like levels. If I had one of these, it was pretty much guaranteeing myself to perish. You can also use a different type of gem gained from the zones or an NPC vendor in the hub world to permanently increase your stats like health, lives, and things like that. Also, some NPCs will offer you the chance to buy specific abilities like a grapple hook or glider. My favourite being the glider thing, as it lets you gain a little bit of extra height and hang time. Very good for correcting a gonk jump or avoiding death. Saved my life many of times. The grapple hook, it should be fun, but it just never worked for me, so long live the glider. Speaking of death, you have 3 lives initially. You can get more via upgrades. You also have a health bar that can also be upgraded. Once your health bar is empty or you fall to your doom, you will lose a life. Lose all 3, and it's back out of the shard you go. You can gain an extra life and health replenishments at the campfire segments of the shards. At the end of each shard you'll be fighting one of 3 bosses, which will increase in difficulty and intensity with each loop. These don't require any wild mechanics, it's very simple. Run into them or their weak spot. How you accomplish this is the challenge. The first boss, Jumper, will jump from one end of the zone to the other, all the while throwing a barrage of attacks at you, and if you take too long, he'll just hop away. Then we have Convoy, which is my personal favourite, which requires you to get behind the giant monstrosity and travel through its inner, dodging its lasers to hit the weak spot. I love this one, it's always a great time doing this one, it just feels so epic. Finally, we have the snake, which I just never got on with. The idea is that you run down its back to get its weak spot, and the way it flies around the map and bends, it gives you the nice slopes you want. But I just found it really annoying to play through and just never had a good time fighting this boss. The bosses themselves can get pretty repetitive on the third time round, but they do increase on difficulty enough to make them at least feel different-ish. The final boss is a fucking pain in the arse. I don't want to spoil anything too much, but the level shifts and it's very easy to get lost and bang your head in a wall. Once you finish a shard, the game does offer you the chance to leave it, or continue and see how far you can get before you perish, or get bored. Visually, the game is very nice. It's very minimalist on the UI front, with all your important stuff being bundled in the middle for easy viewing while flying through the air at top speeds. The levels themselves are all brightly coloured, with varying elements to each one for each run. Sometimes they'll slap a filter on it to make it black and white and so on. But for me it did get repetitive on the third go through grassland, desert, snow area. The challenge areas do take you to some more interesting and wacky areas, but they are restricted to those zones. And I would have liked to have seen a bit more than, well, grassland, desert, snow in the main levels. The characters themselves are also very well done and interesting to look at and interact with, even though sometimes it does just come down to still images talking to each other. The music is also very good for the most part, some real high energy music. But sometimes it does mellow out, and while it's nice and different, and I've got no problem with the music itself, it does feel kind of out of place. I'm flying through the air at top speed running from the end of the world, and it's just some super chill music. The game does have a story, and it is shown through interactions between still images at rest zones or after you finish the level. I did personally get a bit eager to go and run and did just skip a lot of the story, but I did get the general gist. Overall, HASTE is an incredibly satisfying and fun game to play. Even though it does get repetitive at points, it's great for speedrunners, indie fans, and just generally fans of going fast in video games. The game is pretty cheap, sitting at 16 quid with a demo, but be warned, the demo does kind of play a little bit different to the main game. They kind of fixed a lot up. But if you're interested, play the demo. If you're further interested, buy it. It's a fun time. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.